Hello everyone. Today I'll be discussing the diamond light grid, also known as the diamond light matrix and the 60 light grid, and the powerful healing that comes from accessing this realm of consciousness and the vast amount of information that comes through, that is channeled through when accessing this dimension. Now, the 60 light grid, the diamond light grid, is where we commune with our higher selves and guides and multidimensional aspects, where there is a vast amount of information that is accessible to you when you access this realm of consciousness. And from this frequency plane, healing on another level takes place. And this can be to do with this reality experience right now and assisting you with healing and navigating your reality experience, but as well as accessing information to do with parallel lifetimes, or for our understanding, what we would call it as past lives, accessing the Akashic Record, thus bringing through any information that will assist with bringing clarity in one's reality experience when navigating, when trying to gain a deeper, more profound understanding as to the different roles individuals have played in one's life and how this is ultimately perfect and has acted in the highest form of service. So by accessing this information for yourself, you are able to gain clarity on your reality experience and why certain experiences played out the way that they did. There is a deeper meaning to things, and from this realm of consciousness, the information comes through. So how do we access the diamond light grid, which is fully activated and accessible right here and now? The 60 light grid is fully accessible. This is to do with DNA activations on an individual level, and also how much inner work, how much shadow work an individual has done, how much density has been released from the physical vessel in order to embody more light. Thus the DNA activations, and we have been for a while greatly assisted with this, with the light emissions flooding the earth plane, carrying the diamond light codes, this assisting with the DNA activations within, thus through the heart space. This is where we access the diamond light grid, the diamond matrix. Is through the heart space. When enough DNA activations have taken place, when you have gone through enough of a process and you've reached a certain level in terms of consciousness, when heart activations have taken place, the higher heart activation has taken place, we can very easily access this realm of consciousness, the diamond light grid, which is of great assistance. And what we are able to achieve in this realm of consciousness, as I've mentioned before, we tap into our Akashic record. So any information to do with our life experiences, our reality experiences, is accessible. Sometimes information won't come through, and if this is the case, it is an indication that that information is not of service in the here and now. It is not necessary right now to know that. But the information that is of service and will be of great assistance will be accessible. And this is all in the form of consciousness when we tap into these dimensions, these multiple lives. We can go back into our own history in this reality experience, and our guides and higher self and multidimensional aspects will explain in great detail with clarity why certain things happened the way they did, and on a higher level, all right, you will see, in essence, through a higher and ascended consciousness state of being, how perfect everything is. So it depends on the inner work, and people are going through this very quickly now. So there are many individuals on the earth plane who have already accessed this realm of consciousness, and it's happening in waves, who will be. And this is of great assistance. So it's to do with the inner work, with self-love, forgiving the self, self-care, looking after the self, forgiving others, doing your best to be the representation of unconditional love to the best of your ability. From the state of being, the DNA activations take place. You are giving yourself permission to be activated, to embody more light, to navigate your reality experience within integrity from a place of love. Thus, everything unfolds perfectly at the perfect pace. So that is all that is required. There is nothing really fancy that one needs to do in order to access the 6D light grid, the diamond light grid. It's a process of loving the self. That is it. And this is through the heart space. At the end of this video, I'll take you through a little technique that will assist with you accessing this higher frequency plane. And you can begin doing this whenever you want, and you will see the benefits in accessing this dimension, and how in this plane it is the ultimate light plane. It is the light body. It is our expression in one of its purest forms. Thus, everything stemming from that is perfect. How everything is playing out and will play out is perfect. And you'll get the information at the pace you are ready to receive the information, and it will be designed in a way specifically for you, for your understanding. Sometimes we can attract other people, channels, to bring through information for us, which is also great. But at the end of the day, you are the greatest receiver according to your DNA makeup, your connections to your higher self, your guides. You are the greatest receiver for the information pertaining to you and how it will serve you. And it is accessible to you, and anyone can achieve this, and many have, and many are without fully realizing it yet. And this will come to a realization, and it is happening in waves, as I have discussed. So I'll give you a few examples of how this can be of benefit. Okay, anything to do with soul agreements, okay, anything to do with the Akashic record, anything to do with making the free will choice of choosing something different and putting an end or releasing what no longer serves on any level. The possibilities in this dimension, okay, are pretty much infinite. That's why I say if it serves you or not. At the end of the day, you are in charge of your reality experience, and by going up into this dimension, you are having a conversation with your higher selves and guides, and you direct what you wish to experience moving forward. So soul agreements that have played out, you can clear for good just by using an affirmation, a decree of sorts, with feeling that you would like to cancel or clear this agreement with the entity associated to an agreement that you no longer prefer to experience. You can also access information that will explain to you, and sometimes the soul agreements that have played out in our lifetimes have not been pleasant, sometimes very unpleasant for us, but there was an agreement on a higher level for that orchestration to take place, and it is perfect. And in this realm of consciousness, your guides will explain to you what actually played out, the different roles, what they represented, and why it was necessary for your expansion and for your growth. And when we access this realm of consciousness, okay, usually in this time frame, when we are there, it's an indication that it is time, if you would like to release this agreement with the entity, okay, not that it's a negative thing like I've explained, but with the entity, and I'll explain why I say entity. So you may have noticed in your reality experience, okay, I can use an example of the victim abuser dynamic, where for many, many years of your life, through different relationships, there has been a certain theme that has played out, okay, and it might have changed roles from victim to abuser within the dynamic. Each and everyone's reality experience is unique to them. It is up to you. But go back to childhood and you will notice a theme that has played out with different individuals. In essence, this has been an agreement with an entity, okay, that is of great service, that was agreed upon by both individuals consciously most of the time, but if not, an agreement between both the individuals' higher selves in order for the expansion. What was the best for both individuals? What was the best for both concerned to be played out? When we access the diamond light grid, this kind of information comes through, and we go all the way back through multiple relationships, and we can see down to the finest detail that moment in time when this was initiated, okay? And sometimes, more often than not, and it's come through for me, you'll see that in childhood there was a theme, a repeated cycle that played out where as the child you thought you did something wrong. And your guides will explain to you, and they've explained this to me, drawing all the way back to that first experience, how there was very heavy programming taking place. So in this realm of consciousness, you'll also be shown the programming, okay? But it is of service. There is nothing wrong with it. It is all a part of the blueprint that you chose to experience. But you'll be shown from childhood the programming of society and how you were made to believe that there was something wrong with you, that you were a bad apple, perhaps, that you deserved a certain amount of punishment in your life. And this played out through multiple relationships and experiences throughout your reality experience. So all in all, you'll gain the information and you'll be shown in perfect detail with clarity all the way to childhood how you did nothing wrong. And there was programming passed down by other individuals that was projected upon, that you took on as your own. And now you identified with that programming. Programming coming in the form of a belief about oneself and one's reality experience. Thus playing out as a limiting belief of the self throughout life. And all it was, and all it is a limiting belief, where perhaps you were lied to when you were a child. And you'll be explained and shown the lie for what it is, that program that on a higher level, yes, you chose to experience. And throughout this entire process, it is all beautiful how it plays out and how it will be explained to you. Okay? This is in essence giving the self permission by tapping into the diamond grid to set the self free of limitation and understanding that it was perfect. And in essence, when something is perfect, you'll begin to understand that there is actually no need to forgive the self because it was perfect. But with a degree, an affirmation, okay, forgiveness is perfectly fine. Forgiving the self, in essence, is saying that it is perfect and there is nothing wrong with me and with the experience, and I am free to now explore something unique, something different, something that I wish to experience. So this is one of the examples of what you can access there in terms of soul agreements. And you'll also find other types of information. If you have an addiction to something, if you have something you would like to release, you will also see and be shown where this addiction comes from. And usually it is tied into something that would have happened from childhood, okay, where a lie was believed and there was programming, and there, from that point there was self-blame, a lack of self-worth, and the addiction came about later on to fill in that gap, in essence, to distract the self from the programming at hand, from that moment in time. But once we get this information coming through clearly and we go back, we'll see what it is we were lied to. Well, this is what happened. It is perfect. Okay, that addiction didn't come from this, according to this thing and that experience. It actually comes from there. And just by doing this energetically, there is clarity. There is truth coming through. And we are able to let go of that addiction, of what no longer serves, as the illusion it is. An addiction is an illusion, okay? An addiction is when we are not loving a part of ourselves and we choose to avoid it, okay? That scenario, and we are escaping from the present moment. We are not being present. When there is an addiction, we are trying to move away, jump out of something. And you'll be shown. Clarity and truth is very powerful and it is freeing. There is liberation in this. Not only this, but accessing the diamond light grid, the 60 light grid, energetically, there is healing automatically by going into meditation and by accessing this dimension, this higher frequency plane. There is medicine by just accessing it, by not even worrying about how to interpret information, not worrying about anything else, by going into the 0 point, into the heart space, and allowing ourselves to acclimate, to meet our higher self and guides halfway. Energetically, there is automatic healing that takes place. This light frequency is love. We are loving the self, we are connecting with love. Energetically, there is healing. And this is all happening naturally. So if you, and I'll provide an example, have noticed a repeated cycle and have noticed that this is a soul agreement and would like this to be undone, you are in charge. In essence, on a higher level, we are all expressions of the one. So any agreement with another, in essence, is an agreement with the self, and anything can be undone at any time if one chooses. That is the great news. No one or not anything has any power over you or forces you to stay in something or experience something that you do not prefer. We are sovereign and we have the free will to choose what we wish to experience. So what you do is you go into meditation, and I'll use this moment in time now to go through the whole thing, to explain the technique to use. It's very simple, a form of meditation and a affirmation that you can use. And you can use it in your own words, and you use it with feeling. And you are going to affirm that you no longer wish to experience this agreement, as it has served its purpose, and you now release it. And in this frequency plane, the diamond light grid, okay, you are now sending that agreement back to source, and you are releasing what no longer serves. You are aligning with your sovereignty. You are taking charge, control of your experience, thus allowing for something even better than expected to come across your path. So now you have identified a repeated cycle, a soul agreement, the entity involved, okay, with the soul agreement, and now you wish to clear it for good. You're in essence clearing that agreement. You are clearing the Akashic record associated to this interaction, and it can take a few minutes, and it is quick and easy. And as more things, experiences, understandings, knowings crop up in your reality experience, you can keep doing this. Because in essence, we are the boss, we are in charge, and our guides and higher selves need very often our permission, because they will not intervene in some things unless we give them permission to. So you go into a meditative state by closing your eyes and connecting with your breath, taking in 3 deep breaths. Once this is done, just continue breathing normally, moving into the heart space, to your place of peace. And you're going to imagine a diamond forming in your heart space, emitting a white light. So a diamond in your heart space with a glowing white light. Then you imagine the white light expanding to cover and encompass your entire body, your physical form, down to every last cell, fiber in your being. You are immersed in this white light now, with this diamond in your heart space. Then you expand the white light to cover the room, the property you're in, the state, the province, the city, the country, continent, and then the entire planet. So you, your physical being, your auric field, the entire realm that you're in, the earth plane, is covered in this white light, with the diamond glowing in your heart space. Then from there, you just connect with the diamond. From this place, with your eyes closed, information will begin to come through to you, and you can affirm out loud or in your mind, I am the Christ light, and I am connected to the diamond light grid, the 60 light grid, and I commune with my higher self and guides and multidimensional aspects in the here and now. Something along those lines. It's up to you what you say, but you're just giving your guides and higher self permission to come through. Then from this place of consciousness and meditation, you can affirm, make a decree that you now wish to release, dissolve, cancel the agreement with the entity associated to those experiences you have been through. And with love, you thank the entity for its service, for the agreement. But as a sovereign being, you now choose with a decree to let go, sign off on, release any agreement in this reality across all dimensions, all timelines, all realities. You release this agreement with that entity with love, and so it is. So that is it. That is the kit. You can use it in your own way, like I always explain. In essence, it's just connecting with the self, going into the heart space, connecting with this grid, and then affirming in your mind's eye or out loud. I prefer to do out loud. Okay? You can do it with your imagination. It's up to you. Whatever feels right will be right for you. And by saying in this reality experience, by releasing it in this reality across all dimensions, all timelines, all reality experiences, that is any interaction, any experience with that soul agreement, you are clearing, you are releasing for good, and so it is, and it is done. So this can also work for any limiting beliefs you may have about the self. Okay, anything you don't prefer, you go into this realm of consciousness where your guides and higher self and your aspects from this higher frequency plane will assist you. It's very simple. It is not complicated. And when coming out of this place, when you come out of this meditation, you will feel that you have released something. You will know, you will feel lighter. There will be clarity in your experience. And this is very empowering on an individual level. Knowing that always in any experience that we have the free will and choice to choose what we experience. So you can think about an agreement on a soul level the same as an agreement in a reality experience. If you agree, if someone invites you for coffee and you agree, that's an agreement. If you agree to get into a relationship, that is an agreement, okay? And on a higher level, it's an agreement with the self, and anything can be undone and changed at any time. And it is up to you by pure conscious direction with that intention, just by directing with a affirmation. And also what's very powerful, I must remind you, is to feel it, to release it as well. So feel passionately that you choose to release this thing. With feeling is very important, because often through feeling, that's how we communicate with our guides and higher selves, and they will understand. They understand us better than we understand ourselves. So that's the discussion for today. The diamond light grid, the diamond matrix, the 60 light grid, fully activated and accessible right now. And in this place of consciousness, miracles happen, miracles take place. You move to a completely new level of consciousness, and you can have so much fun with what you access in this realm of consciousness. I've only touched on a little bit of it. From this place, you can also astral travel. You can also remote view. There is a vast amount of information. There is a vast amount of love accessible, all for the assistance of you and aligning you with your fuller self. And when you embody the light and are your fuller self to the best of your ability, you are of the greatest service to everyone and everything, the entire whole, no matter what it looks like. What is best for you is best for all concerned. So by doing this, you are assisting everyone and everything simultaneously. That's the power of this. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion and have a fantastic week. Goodbye for now.